people at our conference, please join us on our road once again, and we are going to North Africa. Paper Waters, let's go.
To see new sights, hear new sounds, and smell new smells.
Don't step in that! A camel was just here!
Yes, life can get a little pretty, but just imagine.
We're off on the road to Morocco. This camel is tough on the spine. Where they're going, why we're going, how can we be sure? I'll lay you 8 to 5 that we'll meet Dorothy Lamour. We're off on the road to Morocco. I hear this country's where they do the dance of 7 veils. We'd tell you more, but we would have dear Jim upon our tails. We certainly do get around. Like Webster's dictionary, we're Morocco bound.
Well, now that that is out of our systems, let's see what North Africa has to offer.
The Kingdom of Morocco is a country in North Africa. It has a long coastline on the Atlantic Ocean that reaches past the Strait of Gibraltar into the Mediterranean Sea. It borders Algeria to the east, though the Algerian border is closed, Western Sahara to the south, the Mediterranean Sea and Spain to the north, and the Atlantic Ocean to the west. Morocco claims ownership of Western Sahara and has administered most of the territory since 1975. Its status is disputed pending a United Nations referendum. In lieu of Western Sahara's membership in the African Union, Morocco is the only African country that is not currently a member of it, but is a member of the Arab League. The full Arabic name of the country translates to the Western Kingdom. The name Morocco in many other languages originates from the name of the former capital, Marrakech. Morocco's largest industry is the mining of phosphate. The second largest source of income is from nationals living abroad who transfer money to relatives living in Morocco. The country's third largest source of revenue is tourism. Morocco ranks among the world's largest producers and exporters of cannabis, and its cultivation and sale provides the economic base for much of the population of northern Morocco. The cannabis is typically processed into hashish.
That's a wacky-backy.
Most people live west of the Atlantis Mountains, a range that insulates the country from the Sahara Desert. Casablanca is the center of commerce and industry and the leading port. Rabat is the seat of government. Tangier is the gateway of Morocco from Spain and also a major port. Fez is a cultural and religious center, and the dominantly Berger Marrakech is a major tourist center. Education in Morocco is free and compulsory through primary school, which is age 15. Nevertheless, many children, particularly the girls in the rural areas, still do not attend school. The country's illiteracy rate has been stuck at around 50% for many years, but it reaches as high as 90% among the girls in the rural regions. Morocco has about 230,000 students enrolled in 14 public universities. The oldest and in some ways the most prestigious is Mohammed V University in Rabat. Morocco is a country with legal gambling and is divided into cities. There are 3 cities in Morocco which have 5 legal gambling facilities available. The 5 gambling facilities consist strictly of casinos. Legally, the only types of gambling available in Morocco are casinos. The largest casino in the country of Morocco is Le Grand Casino Le Mambrounia, which is located in Marrakesh. Le Grand Casino has 37 table games and 640 casino slot machines.
Gambling? Yeah, want to give it a try? Do we have any gamblers out there? Let's get the state lecturers up here and let them try it.
Sahara in 1976 and the rest of the territory in 1979. A guerrilla war with the Polisario Front contesting Rabat sovereignty ended in a 1991 UN-brokered ceasefire. A UN-organized referendum on final status has been repeatedly postponed. We find the Western Sahara and Northern Africa bordering the North Atlantic Ocean between Mauritania and Morocco. Western Sahara depends on pastoral nomadism, fishing, and phosphate mining as the principal source of income for the population. The territory lacks sufficient rainfall for sustainable agricultural production, and most of the food for the urban population must be imported. All trade and other economic activities are controlled by the Moroccan government. Moroccan Energy Interest in 2001 signed contracts to explore for oil off the coast of Western Sahara, which has angered the Polisario. Incomes and standards of living in Western Sahara are substantially below the Moroccan level.
Well, that was pretty dry.
Dry, you say? we can fix that.
Great, let's see that.
The rain stick is an unusual instrument that was created by the native peoples in the rainforest. They took a hollowed out branch of a tree, covered both ends, and used it to carry their seeds and precious items from one place to another as they traveled. Inside the branch were thorns or sticks that would catch the seeds as they fell, creating a noise that sounded like the slow drizzle of rain.
But this is about North Africa. There's no rainforest there.
Well, this couldn't hurt, but now we want the state masters to come and demonstrate the use of the rain stick. State masters, where are you? Just listen to that sound.
Everybody here got an umbrella, put them up.
You can almost feel the rain.
Crash commercialism, that's for sure. Meanwhile, back at the sand dunes, we trek on.
Algeria's climate is arid and hot. Although the coastal climate is mild and the winters in the mountainous areas can be severe, Algeria is prone to sirocco, a hot dust, and sand-laden wind, especially common in summer. The fossil fuels energy sector is the backbone of the economy, accounting for roughly 60% of budget revenues, 30% of the GDP, and over 95% of export earnings. It ranks 14th in petroleum reserves, containing 11.8 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, with estimates suggesting that the actual amount is even more. The Energy Information Administration reported that in 2005, Algeria had 160 trillion cubic feet of proven natural gas reserves, the 8th largest in the world. About 90% of Algerians live in the northern coastal area. The minority who inhabit the Sahara Desert are mainly concentrated in oases, although some 1.5 million remain nomadic or partly nomadic. 99% of the population is classified ethnically as Arab Berber and religiously as Muslim. Other religions are restricted to extremely small groups, mainly of foreigners. Europeans account for less than 1%. Most Algerians are Arab by language and identity, and of mixed Berber-Arab ancestry. The Berbers inhabited Algeria before the arrival of Arab tribes during the expansion of Islam in the 7th century. The issue of ethnicity and language that was a good word, wasn't it? I kind of blew that one. And language is sensitive after many years of government marginalization of Berber, or Imagine, as some prefer, culture. Today, the Berber Arab issue is often a case of self-identification or identification through language and culture, rather than a racial or ethnic distinction. The 20% or so of the population who self-identify as Berbers and primarily speak Berber language, such as Tamazight, are divided into several ethnic groups, notably Kabyle, the largest in the mountainous and northern central area, Chaui in the eastern Atlas Mountains, Zoabites in the Mez Valley, and Tuareg in the far south.
The Tanzanian Republic of Tanzania is a country situated on the Mediterranean coast of North Africa. It is the easternmost and smallest of the nations situated around the Atlas Mountain Range, bordering Algeria. To the west, Libya to the south and east. 40% of the country is composed of Sahara Desert, with much of the remainder consisting of particularly fertile soil, with easily accessible coasts. Both played a prominent role in ancient times. First was the famous Phoenician city of Carthage, and later as the African province. It became known as the breadbasket of the Roman Empire. It is thought that the name Tunis originated from Berber, meaning either geographical promontory or to spend the night.
Midnight at the oasis, send your camel to bed. Shadows painting our faces, traces of romance in our head. Heaven's holding our hands, shining just for us. Let's slip off to a sand dune, real soon. Kick up a little dust, come on, cactus is on bread. Keep on that way. Come on, till the evening, You don't have an answer. There's no need to speak. I'll be your belly dancer, and you can be my shoe. I know your daddy's a sultan. I know that don't you all. 50 girls to attend him, they all send him. Jump back and spectacle, but you won't need no haircut. When I'm by your side, you won't need no camel, no, when I
Well, wait a minute, this is a family show.
Okay, let's move on and very quickly.
The name Libya derives from the ancient term Libu, referring to Berber peoples living west of the Nile, and adopted into Greek as Libya. In ancient Greece, the term had a broader meaning, encompassing all of North Africa west of Egypt, and sometimes referring to the entire continent of Africa. The land now known as modern Libya has been throughout the ages subjected to varying degrees of foreign control. The Venetians, Carthaginians, Greeks, Romans, Vandals, and Byzantines ruled all or parts of Libya. Although the Greeks and Romans left impressive ruins at Cyrene, Leptis Magna, and Sabratha, little else remains today to testify to the presence of these ancient cultures. Libya extends over 1,759,000 square kilometers, making it the 16th largest nation in the world. It is bound to the west by Tunisia and Algeria, the southwest by Niger, the south by Chad and Sudan, and to the east by Egypt. The country is also bound to the north by the Mediterranean Sea. The climate is mostly dry desert climate. The northern regions, however, enjoy a milder Mediterranean climate. Natural hazards are hot, dry, dust-laden Sirocco, and it's a southern wind lasting 1 to 4 days in spring and fall. Dust storms and sandstorms. Oases include the Gadams, Kafra, and many others. The Libyan desert is one of the most arid places on earth. In places, decades may pass without rain, and even in the highlands, rainfall happens erratically, once every 5 to 10 years. At Yuanat, the last recorded rainfall was in September of 1998. With such dryness, the desert would be expected to be totally lifeless, yet there is a surprising abundance of life. There is a large depression, the Ottawa Depression, just to the south of the northernmost scarp, with Sidra Oasis at its western extremity. The depression continues in a shallower form west to the oasis of Jagbob and Jalo. There are other inhabited oases, Baharia, Darfur, Dakhla, and Karga, west of the Nile in Egypt. There are a few scattered uninhabited small oases, usually linked to the major depressions, where water can be found by digging a few feet in depth. In the west, there is a wide Aside the scarps, the general flatness is only interrupted by a series of plateaus and masses near the center of the Libyan desert, around the convergence of the Egyptian, Sudanese, Libyan borders. Slightly further to the south are the masses of Arkano, Owings, and Kisul. These granite mountains are very ancient, having formed much before the sandstones surrounding them. Arkano and western Yuanat are ring complexes very similar to those in the Air Mountains. Eastern Yuanat, the highest point in the Libyan desert, is a raised sandstone plateau adjacent to the granite part further west. The plain to the north of Yuanat is dotted with eroded volcanic features. In 1996, the movie The English Patient raised public interest in the Libyan desert.
Oh, I'm getting dry again.
You want water? Clear blue water!
Today I face the barren waves without a taste of water. Oh
is a Middle Eastern republic in North Africa. While the country is geographically situated in Africa, the Sinai Peninsula east of the Suez Canal is a land bridge to Asia. Covering an area of about 1,450 square kilometers, Egypt borders Libya to the west, Sudan to the south, and Israel and the Gaza Strip to the northeast. On the north and east are the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, respectively. Egypt is the 15th most populous country in the world. The vast majority of its 78.8 million population, and that's of 2006, live near the banks of the Nile River, where only the arable agricultural land is found. Large areas of land are part of the Sahara Desert and are sparsely inhabited. About half of the Egyptian people today are urban, and they live in a densely populated center of Greater Cairo, which is the largest city in Africa, in Alexandria. Egypt is famous for the ancient civilization, and some of the world's most ancient and important monuments include the Giza pyramids, the Karnak Temple, the Valley of the Kings, and the Great Sphinx of Giza. The southern city of Luxor contains a particularly large number of ancient artifacts. Today, Egypt is widely regarded as the main political and cultural center of the Arab and Middle Eastern regions. Egypt's economy depends mainly on agriculture, media, petroleum exports, and tourism. There are also more than 5 million Egyptians who work abroad, mainly in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Europe. The United States, as well, has a large population of Egyptian immigrants. Egypt is the second most populous country in Africa. It has nearly 79 million people. Almost all the population is concentrated along the banks of the River Nile, near Alexandria and Cairo, and in the delta and near the Suez Canal. Approximately 90% of the population adheres to Islam, and most of the remainder is Christianity. Apart from the religious affiliations, Egyptians can be divided demographically into those who live in the major urban centers and the Fellahin or the farmers in the rural villages. The Egyptians are a fairly homogeneous people since ancient time, particularly before the unification of the Upper and Lower Egypt. North African and Eastern Mediterranean influences have come to predominate in the north, while the people in the south are Nubians and Ethiopians. Despite these differences, the bulk of modern Egyptians are most closely related to one another and are descended from ancient Egyptian society, which has been rural and quite populous compared to the neighboring regions. The Egyptian people have spoken only languages from the Afro-Asiatic family throughout their history, starting with Old Egyptian to modern Egyptian Arabic.
Most of the population living along the Nile River, but I wonder what natural hazards must they face?
We're going to do an action song, and we're going to get you people off your duff, and you're going to help us. So, the song is called the Crocodile Song, which I learned many, many years ago at 4-H camp sitting around a campfire. So, the words are, and I'm not a singer, so forgive me for all the off-beat. Oh, she sailed away on a merry summer's day on the back of a crocodile. Oh, you see, said she, he was tame as he could be. I'll speed him down the Nile. And the croc winked his eye, and she bid them all goodbye, wearing a happy smile. At the end of the ride, the lady was inside, and the smile was on the crocodile. So, stand up. And I'm going to a line at a time, okay? line. Oh, she sailed away on a merry summer's day on the back of a crocodile. On the sea that she's the same as me, I'll ride him down the Nile. And the clock went beside and she lived on the line, wearing a happy smile. At the end of the ride, the lady was inside, and the smile on the crocodile.
It has been said that the people of North Africa will celebrate most anything. Births, weddings, deaths by the crocodile, and much, much more. Let us celebrate the end of our trek eastward. Okay, now we're going to see how much our state lecturers have been paying attention. And we are going to do a little game, questions and answers, or to see if they were just lulled to sleep here. So if the state lecturers would come forward by the Nile River. And Judy can join them this time too if she'd like. And I am going to ask you a question, and you are going to try to find the letters that will spell out the answer to that question.
I can't spell.
You have to have been paying attention.
That's right. On your side. Oh, thank God.
Okay, the first question. Which country's desert recorded its last rainfall in 1998? Alrighty, we got a winner. It is Libya. Okay, second question. In which country do we find the Valley of the Kings?
We thought we'd have to give clues.
And the answer is Egypt. So the score is 1-1. In which country is Marrakesh? of which country's economy? Continental North Africa is just about finished. It is time to return to the United States. We have heard some facts and figures about most of North Africa, but we slide over the unrest and poverty experienced by many of its people. As with many journeys, we see the wonders of the world, but do we see the lives of the everyday people? If we do, we remember our homeland and long to return home. But what is an American?
What is an American? An American is English or French or Italian, German, Spanish, Polish, Russian, or Greek. An American may also be Canadian, Mexican, African, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Australian, Iranian, Asian, or Arab, or Pakistani, or Afghan. An American may also be a Comanche, Cherokee, Osage, Blackfoot, Navajo, Apache, Seminole, or one of the many other tribes known as Native Americans. An American is Christian, or Jewish, or Buddhist, or Muslim. In fact, there are more Muslims in America than in Afghanistan. The only difference is that in America, they are free to worship as each of them chooses.
An American is also free to believe in no religion. For that, he will answer only to God, not the government, or to armed thugs claiming to speak for the government and for God. An American lives in the most prosperous land in the history of the world. The root of that prosperity can be found in the Declaration of Independence, which recognizes the God-given right of each person to pursuit of happiness. An American is generous. Americans have helped out just about every other nation in the world in their time of need, never asking a thing in return. Americans welcome the best of everything, the best products, the best books, the best food, the best services, but they also welcome the least.
The national symbol of America, the Statue of Liberty, welcomes your tired, your poor, the refuge of your teeming shores, the homeless, tempest-tossed. These, in fact, are the people who built America. Americans are not a particular people from the particular place. They are the embodiment of the human spirit of freedom. Everyone who holds to that spirit everywhere is an American.
Hail the home of freedom, America. Protect that freedom. Let us be the guiding light, the beacon of liberty. Hail the men who died here to like the beacon of liberty, hail the men who died here to guarantee freedom forever for you and me. Thank you, Vermont people, very much. You can see how dry I can write. Anything that you laughed at, it was them. They put stuff together like you wouldn't believe, and I appreciate that. They more than support me. They carry the day for me. And I couldn't get over that. It's fantastic. I applaud my Vermonters. Thank you very much.